Hello, welcome to You Haven't Blanked That. I'm Forrest.
And this is Jimmy. Hey, Forrest.
Hey, Jimmy.
So this week for David Fincher month, we watched a little film called Zodiac.
Yes, we did.
In the late 1960s and 1970s, fear grips the city of San Francisco as a serial killer called Zodiac strikes its residents. Investigators Mark Ruffalo, Anthony Edwards, and reporters Jake Gyllenhaal and Robert Downey Jr. become obsessed with learning the killer's identity and bringing him to justice. Meanwhile, Zodiac claims victims after victim and taunts the authorities with cryptic messages, ciphers, and menacing phone calls. Dun dun dun.
I liked the beginning of this movie. I didn't like
The ending?
The ending and where it goes.
Where he's kind of like solving it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of ran on too long for me.
That's where the murders and the setup, like, of everything, fantastic.
Yeah, like they have these little vignettes
Yeah.
of like these murders that are happening.
The opening scene, I still think, is fantastic.
Yeah, where he follows them and then shoots him in the car.
Because that girl's like in love, like is obviously in love with that kid, and they go to a make out point or whatever, and he's all nervous and whatever. Like, it's such a cool scene.
Now, is it still considered serial killing if they use a gun?
Yes, any murder,
any series of murders is a serial killing.
Actually, you know what the series of murder is? You know what is considered a serial killer?
Is it like 2 or more?
It is 2 or more.
I figured it was 2 or more.
So
because it's like you're doing them in a group. Like a group of murders is like a serial. Like a group of murders done by one person is like a serial killing.
Yeah. So like
a murder of crows, no pun intended. A pack of dogs or
what do they call a flock of vultures? A funeral?
I don't know if it's like a murder, like a crows.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
A funeral of vultures sounds that sounds like a fucking metal band name.
Funeral of vultures.
Funeral of vultures.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, this is a trippy, just true story, and like this film just kind of leads you into like one area of like who you think it is. Because even if you rewatch it, because I know because I've seen it before, but knowing they say it is, it really strong arms you to believe it's this one person. And then if you watch it, they're filmed that way.
Well, the guy, the basement guy, which I don't know if you know
How creepy is that?
Do you know who the basement guy is?
That creepy dude?
Is
that Monk?
Is that Monk? That is the voice of Roger Rabbit.
Really?
Same guy.
Oh, that's cool. Man, he's so creepy in that.
He's fucking creepy as shit in that.
I like how he fucking runs away. The door's locked. It was very Scooby-Doo-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, this killing is still unsolved.
Yeah, no, I know. He's probably dead at this point too.
Oh yeah, so one of the main suspects that I believe they do a good job of kind of leading you like, oh, could be this, could be this.
Who do you think it's any of the people that they brought up in the movie? Or
yeah, the cop. The cop. Yeah, there was a cop that was.
That's right. Yeah.
That was very much like it kind of fit the motif, and this one this film has a really good way of just kind of giving you all these random events. But they do kind of give you more of what they think who it is, because that guy obviously he ruined his first marriage writing the book, because Jake Gyllenhaal is the writer. That's what the book is based off, his book.
Well, no, he didn't.
Or this movie is based off of his book.
I thought he wasn't married, and then he started marrying. Oh yeah, he wasn't married, and then he started hanging out with that girl. Oh, no, because he had the first marriage with the lady before. He wasn't writing the book at that point.
No. Oh, then yeah, you're right.
Because he has the kid that he's taking to school, but she left him for whatever reason.
Yeah, and then
he starts dating the other girl.
And then that other girl, they end up getting divorced because of his obsession, and then he ends up, I think, getting married again. But overall, like, I thought they did a really good job of like kind of touching base of where everything was. And, like, the movie, you kind of feel like you should get an ending, an answer to it, but you don't. And, like...
And I'm okay with that.
And, like, I'm okay with it, too, but I felt like they were just so, like, this is the fucking guy, which, I honestly, like, I feel bad because, like, you gotta understand, like, there's families attached to that guy, you know what I mean? So now you're dealing with, like, having everyone in town, everyone in the nation now believe that your father's the one who, like, killed that person. Or
but was that guy married?
Was he married?
The
Lee, Andrew Lee? No, he wasn't, was he?
The guy that was Drew Carey, was it Drew Carey's brother?
Brother, yeah.
Yeah.
He was also, the guy at the hardware store, the Ace Hardware store.
Ace Hardware.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't think that guy was married.
Yeah.
No, he was in and out of jail. That's what they thought.
Yeah,
because they were saying it lined up with the time that he was in jail.
Yeah.
Like there weren't any murders around this time.
But the thing too, it's like, the amount of like murders that happen. Like it's like because the Zodiac said he had 37 kills, 37, 38, 37.
37.
So he had 37
in a row.
In a row. But like it's but they can only officially say seven of them were actually done. But then you have
why can they
all those.
So let's go back a second. Why can they only say 7?
Because things you had so many copycats happening, and then you also had so many just like things didn't add up precisely, kind of like with his motif, or like that's kind of too far for him to be.
So that's why they only like we're gonna officially about the ones that we're gonna do, and we're gonna do these 7.
Because like even the movie does a really good job of everybody saying that they're the Zodiac killer, or they know people who whatever. Because in Riverside they mentioned in the film that there was
it Riverside or was it Torrance?
Riverside. He said it was because
he says Torrance also.
He goes, where's Riverside? He goes, oh, it's somewhere in L.A. He goes, oh,
right.
He used to be that far away from home. But also, Brea, there was an incident with the Zodiac killer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I know this because like I used to drink at a lot of VA bars.
What was the one? Wasn't there something in Irvine also?
That's the freeway killer. And
no, there was one book I listened to, and I feel like there was something in Irvine, but it wasn't the freeway killer. But I've not done anything listening. I think it was on this book. Like, have you listened to this book or read this book?
No.
I think there was something in Irvine with this killer.
Yeah, there was a book that I read. I think it was the freeway killer, the one I was reading, where it was like he'd go to gay bars and start killing people. Yeah. But like I know he dumped a body like a block away from my office, which is so.
Yeah,
weird.
no, he I think the Zodiac hit Irvine at some point. Like he was down here at some point.
The amount of killings that happen is astounding. Like also, what's interesting too, it's like the amount of like killings that happen in punk culture, and like the amount of rapes that happen is like it's crazy. Like the movies show you like here like whatever, but like the amount of stories you hear. I think though. The one that just kind of like blew my mind, I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, that's kind of how it was." Was that NOFX book?
I've never gotten to that book.
Oh, it's good. It's good, and like it's heartbreaking because you're like, "Shit, dude!" Like,
do you have a copy of that?
Maybe.
Because I can't find it online anywhere.
Yeah, fuck it up.
If you have a copy of it, or you see a copy while you're out,
yeah, no, I'll grab it because like it's.
I like reading books about punk rock.
Because that one's good because like it talks about like, you know, them going to shows and then like these like punkers picking up this like teenage girl and then they're taking her back to like rape her and then they're like, what? And then like Fat Mike is like he sees him taking the girl and he hears her crying and he's aware of what's happening, but he's not getting involved because they'll kill him, you know what I mean? And it's just like, holy shit. Or like Fat Mike's, I think it was the the bassist was in love with this girl, and then this guy came out of jail, and he was kind of like all hardcore, and then he told him like, "Hey, I fought him off. He didn't rape her," and she was like, "No, he didn't rape me, but 100% that happened." And like, and then he in the book he goes, "Sorry, this is how you have to find out about it, but you know, I'm not lying in this book." And you're like, "Fuck, dude, like that's some hard shit to be dropping left and right." But in the 70s, like the amount of like bodies being found is like crazy. The amount of like actual killers and serial killers that were in LA that they're still in LA, but like there's like it was crazy because like the bodies found, like there was a grouping of downtown LA bodies just chopped up in little pieces, thrown in a bag, and they assumed it was a freeway killer, but it wasn't. It was just some random person killing hobos and just stashing them in like trash bags. But like the amount of killing that happening all around at that late 60s, early 70s is insane because all those, there's thousands of like unsolved cases.
Yeah.
Because like nobody knows, but everybody wanted to be the Zodiac killer or have that title, the Zodiac killer. But like you had all these kind of copycats happening everywhere. So like that's why like the Brea one, do I believe it's the real Zodiac killer? No, it might be a copycat. More likely it is a copycat, but it's just like that just fueled the like the minds of these psychos that are just kind of like, oh, I want to be cool and blah blah blah. Because like it was interesting because he took the ciphers. I think made him seem like intelligent enough to be like he's tricking the cops. He was basically the Riddler. You know what I mean? Just running around San Francisco, just murdering everybody, and it's just like. It's interesting, but like what caught America's eyes was like it was in San Francisco. It wasn't a gay attack. It wasn't like he's killing just a bunch of queers. Because I think if that was the case, nothing would have it wouldn't have gotten national media. But the fact that he was killing like just people, like couples, it was just like that was the point where it's like, did he have this thing of like, was it like a Jason type of a thing where like he doesn't like people like fucking and like is trying to kill everybody? It's just bizarre. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't know his reason for killing was that he wanted the afterlife slaves.
Oh yeah. That's they don't go into that in the movie, but it's in the.
He talks about it momentarily in the letter. In the that they got because he figures it out. Yeah. Remember, he's like, oh, this is what he figured out. And this is what.
And what's interesting too is that like a school teacher solved the cipher. So he was like him and his wife were like puzzlers, and like they were able to decipher the first one. And after that, he got annoyed, so he made a more sophisticated cipher based on the first one. Yeah. And then that one is like I think it's like Z142.
Well, that's when he talks about how it went through, and he tells you it. Yeah. They briefly touch on it.
But a lot of those ciphers are still unsolved. Like they have no idea what they are or what they're saying. But like, oh man, this is it's a creepy story.
Do you think they put any of that into AI?
They have. I believe I read some. I was trying to look for it because I know that they put the cipher. They're able to break one, and it happened last year or 2 years ago. Ones? They solved another cipher of it, and they're like, okay, and they use AI to do it.
What did they find out? What did they
remember? It was just gibberish, just taunting. It was nothing like. I don't know the intimate details of the case, so like, I'm sure it leads to like a murder that happened 40 years ago that taunts him because like he would steal clothes from the victims and send them in to prove he was like the killer. He was basically like, I don't know, like fucking Jack the Ripper, just sending the police the liver. You know what I mean? It's just like, but to be that just flamboyant with your murders and then still being selfish enough to be wanting to like taunt you, it was trippy. It was but like this is where I think what's his name got the idea to make his Riddler more darker from the Batman.
The new Batman.
The new Batman.
That makes sense.
Because it makes sense when he has a very Zodiac kind of feel to it, and he's very
got that mask on. He's got what I mean. That makes sense.
But there's tons of adaptations of the Zodiac because which is super creepy too is that like the Dirty Harry movie that came out one of the,
They do that in one of them.
yeah, but what was even creepy is that like that when that came out and that Zodiac, person, like figure person, that was like literally at the height of when it was going on. You know what I mean? So it was like it was so ballsy that you like portray a killer in your show that's actually still killing. And then not only that, but there was another film, The Zodiac, that came out in 1971. Let me read you a quick synopsis of it because I thought it was super interesting. A woman who is pleasuring herself while tending her garden is attacked by a man the media has dubbed the Zodiac Rapist. In his office, Detective Sam Dobbs complains that the newspapers are making him look incompetent due to his inability to catch the Zodiac, who has been taunting him with letters and telephone calls. Dobbs has sex with a secretary while the Zodiac is shown searching around for another victim. It's with John Holmes. The porn is a porn version of it.
Oh, okay.
But there was tons of just like random like spoofs on it, but like it was just at the right time for it too. Because even Mad Magazine, I mean, they have no filters. They'll grab whatever. They'll throw like, but it was a pop culture as an active serial killer was going around. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, but. Yeah, no clue who he is, no clue where any of it could be. Jake Gyllenhaal, I loved him in this. He just plays that dopey young guy trying to get it, and I love where he's in the jail talking to Lisa, saying, "It's like just say the fucking Rick, just say it was fucking Rick," because like he's losing it too, you know what I mean? And it's just like, dude, this is fucking badass. But yeah, at the end, I hate that they pushed the idea that it was Lee. For a long time, I thought it was him, but I at this point, you have no idea. But then you get people that their fathers have passed away, and they're like, "Oh, my father was a cop," and like this, I could prove that he was a Zodiac killer. Like, you can prove jack shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna prove me that the Black Dahlia was like your stepfather too. You know what I mean? And none of it like it's too far gone. Like it's just we have to kind of just let it be what it is. But you get these weird people that just idolize these killers to a weird extent. Like someone's sibling that I know that just loves like these like serial killers, and you're like, all right, like I get the intrigue and the morbidity of it, but like it's still like it's
pumps and brakes. Like,
yeah, a little bit. Like it's too much. And even with like the writer of the book that this movie's based on,
the same guy.
Yeah, you can see where he was just like his obsession just took too much, and it's like now you're just you lost it, dude. Like you lost everything because you're obsessed on a riddle you can't solve.
Yeah.
But again, and that's what he wanted. He gave you these riddles that he thought no one could solve, and like he's still unknown. But overall, what did you think of it? Robert Downey Jr. You got Iron Man. You got the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, I mean this is.
You got Bubble Boy. $500. $500.
I love the cast. I mean, it was good seeing Anthony Edwards in something because you don't really see him in anything anymore.
No, not really.
I like seeing Elias Cotes. The only thing we really see him in is Casey Jones.
Yeah.
And look who's talking too.
Yeah, but like, what do you think of the case? Because like, did you know anything about the Zodiac before this? Or you just kind of know.
I listened to the book a little bit, but I listened to it when I was sleeping, so I would hear 5-10 minutes here and there.
Yeah. And
then it doesn't really stick.
Yeah.
That's where, but I swear that's where there was Irvine stuff in that one, because that was when I got my.
Well, how far is Irvine from Riverside? Oh, actually, that's kind of a long way around, but still, it's still nearby, and also Brea, because Brea was a huge one. But I want to say copycat on that. Because I actually talked to the person involved in that.
How?
So, like, I was...
No, I'm an Indian now.
But my... Because I used to go to all these VA bars. And, like, just kind of hang out and talk to the old... I try to get war stories from people, which rarely they'd give me stories.
Don't.
Yeah. And mine weren't more war stories, but like, what did you do while you were waiting? You know what I mean? Those type of things, or what bars did you go, or what cities? Just get an idea of like
What
the
did you do?
feel. Yeah, but the guy I talked to, his brother was the one who was shot at in Brea. So there's that. It's so different now because there's so many buildings now, but there's a part when you go on the 57 going north, and then you kind of go through that canyon. There's a bunch of like off little areas, and he was saying that he was there with his girlfriend. They're like obviously doing stuff, and somebody came to the door and came to the window and tapped it with a gun, and it scared the shit out of them because they both didn't know what was going on, and then when he started to roll down the window, that's when he noticed the gun, and he was like, "Fuck this!" And he put the car back in, and by that point he started shooting into the car. So he shot through the door, hit the seat, shot him in the leg, shot in between the girl and him, and then he peeled off, and that was the end of it. And he was saying that his brother refuses, or did because he's passed away, but refused to be anywhere dark or anywhere out alone at night.
Yeah.
So, but it's a trip.
Yeah, it is. It's just the format of the true crime books. They're a little monotone.
A little bit, and then
that's what this one does, and I think that's why I think the way they do this with the little vignettes is kind of how they did that book.
Yeah,
because it talks about the murder and how the murder happened, and then it kind of goes back and forth between all the murders and things.
Because that Ted Bundy book that I have, The Stranger Beside Me, it's actually right there. Yeah. That one's really good because it's written by his secretary, and she talks about the cases and where she met these how she met her, who he was, how he was in the office, and then she goes into graphic details of every murder that happened. Yeah. But overall I thought this movie was really good. It still holds up from when I remember I saw it because I was creeped out watching it. Because even now, the vignettes, the murders are great. But even when he does the investigation, goes into that Roger Rabbit's house, and is downstairs, and the point where I thought Jake Gyllenhaal did a great job is when he's talking about how what's his face did the posters, and he goes, "No, I did the posters," and then you get that sense of oh, I fucked. Because even then he goes, "Oh yeah, follow me. Just follow me and I'll show you." And he's like, "Okay," and he gets in his car like a fucking idiot, and then it's just so his acting made it lighter for you to be able to consume it, because with Robert Downey Jr., fantastic, funny, but everybody else is very dry and very serious because it's a serious matter. Yeah. But I feel with Jake's performance, it made it so much more
gee golly whiz.
Yeah, keep it light, keep you kind of all right, we're not getting too dark in this because it's so easy to slip into a gruesome tale of this. But I liked it. But we asked a question.
Where would
every
we
week?
Put him?
Where would we put Corey? To make it better. I mean, you can put him anywhere, and he'll fucking stand out like a shining star.
Shining star or a smelly turd.
There's one part that I love.
Go ahead.
Oh no, you tell me.
One of the boyfriends, I guess.
Just to get shot and whatever.
Shot or stabbed, yeah.
How great would it be to see a fucking creepy version of Corey as the guy in the house, telling him to come downstairs into the basement, asking him if he wants tea, that would creep. That would scare most of his bands from ever going to his house. I mean.
Well, that's what he does essentially already.
Yeah, but how creepy would it be? It'd be so good.
How creepy would it be? Or how creepy is it already?
I've been watching Battlestar Galactica because I finally found it on Peacock. I'm like, haha!
Yeah, it's on Sci-Fi.
Dude, I love it. I'm all back into it again.
I read a comic called The Local Man.
Local Man.
You would dig it. It's this guy who gets kind of gets kicked out of the X-Men for it would be like he gets kicked out of the X-Men and it would be he's not like the Wolverine. but he'd be like one of the other X-Men fucking Jean Grey,
Okay.
and then getting kicked out of the X-Men for it.
Okay.
Because like Cyclops is
Yeah,
the leader and
yeah.
kicked him out, you know. And then like he goes back to his hometown, so it's like he got canceled and has to go. But he's a superhero, gets canceled and has to go back to his hometown.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And then so I finished the first volume. There's a second volume. It's been good. I read a Kevin Smith comic book called Maskerade.
Ooh.
He had pitched a long time. He had tried to pitch a question comic that nobody bought. And then he was talking to Robert Kirkman, and Robert Kirkman's like, yeah, I was working for Marvel, but then I was like, well, I got all these storylines. Why don't I just make my own shit? And that's kind of how he made Invincible.
Okay.
And so Kevin Smith is like, yeah, I'm going to do the same shit. Like, I'm just going to make my own... I can make my own fucking shit, too. Like, why can't I do that?
Yeah.
And so he did it. And then Dark Horse... Because Dark Horse has a Kevin Smith imprint.
Oh, okay.
So that's where the Quick Stops is at, and that's where Masquerade is at, and then he's going to have more on there eventually.
Oh, nice.
And then I read another comic called Soupy Leaves Home about a girl who's like a hobo in like the 1920s or 1930s. And she leaves home because she's like, it's an abusive household and shit. So she leaves and goes on the road and she has to hide that she's a girl. And it's about her becoming a hobo and like...
Oh, that's interesting.
It's good. When I went to the Anacon, they usually have like a comic book speaker or like writer every year that comes out. And her book, she was the speaker this year.
Oh, that's cool.
And she had a bunch. So I was like, I always try to read up before I go to it.
Yeah.
To kind of be familiar with their stuff, and yeah, it was good. It's a really good book.
Nice. What's it called again?
Soupy Leaves Home.
Soupy Leaves Home. That's a great name too. I read a book. I read 2 books since last we saw each other.
Oh, finally you're reading books.
I know, dude. I'm like trying to get back into reading. This one was, you could tell where my brain's been going. Skull Cults and Corpse Brides. Essays, volume number 2. It's about this guy who he was a forensic investigator for the police in London or in Europe, the UK, and he became the head leader for occult practices in going on in England. And he talks about him going to Africa, and then him having a vision about his he's gonna be tortured and suffer through his life, and then the voodoo of the land end up somebody put a curse on him, and then his kid died, and then he had another kid that was stillborn, and then the wife was they're about to break up, and they moved to London. But the entire time he was trying to convert people into Christianity, and his wife was also a nurse trying to help everybody. But then when he came back to the UK, he started noticing that the same practices of voodoo and all the African magic was happening in London, and then it leads into these weird. This is all true, but it's these weird crimes to do with the occult in the UK, and it's some of the cases are horrific. And there's there's a case where this woman, I'll tell you this one case, but there's this case where this 14-year-old boy, 15-year-old boy was home, and he's living with his older sister and her boyfriend and their younger brother. And the boyfriend got in his head that the kid is possessed by a demon. So he tried to exorcise the demon out of him and started drowning him and punching him, trying to get the demon to leave the body. And then the sister saw it and let it all happen. And then to the point where the kid was literally left on the couch bleeding out, and then he ended up dying. And then the girl ended up going to court for the whole thing, and they were both found guilty. But the investigator saying the only reason that guy believed what was going on was because he practiced that same occult magic that was brought in, and it's insane. And then reading the actual real cases, the files, it's fuck, dude. And then it talks about corpse brides and how in China, a lot of people they don't want you to die without being married. So they'll go out and get other people that are passed away, and then do a marriage while they're dead, and asking the spirit to please accept their son as their husband in the afterlife, so they're not alone. It's just this bizarre, just weird stuff, dude. And the other book I read is Berserker, Cannibalism and the Shaman. It's an essay number 4 from this one dude, and like that's just more just like these like this essence of like the Berserker that like because everybody grew up or in the past our ancestors all had this Berserker like mentality where it's like something takes over you and then you just full of rage and it moves you forward. But like it's dude, like some of these stories I just need to like start to like step away from like these occult things because they're getting too invasive in my life.
I'm listening to Paul Scheer's book.
Paul Scheer's, okay.
Joyful Recollections. I
love that man. I really do. Like he genuinely makes me happy.
This book is insane. His how what happened when he grew up, like it was pretty fucking crazy. And then I'm listening to a book called Silent Came the Monster. And it's essentially so the movie Jaws is based on a story about the Jersey Shore in 1916 about a shark that was attacking people in there. And that's what Jaws is based on.
Did I send you that meme where it was that guy? It was like a fleshlight, but it was Jaws, and then like the guy doing the scream.
Yeah, no, you sent me that.
I thought it was funny.
And then yeah, buddy, sure. And then have you ever read any Stephen Graham Jones books?
Stephen Graham,
like Hard as a Chainsaw. Did you ever read that?
Yes.
Okay, him.
Okay.
You know, there's 2 other books in that series, right?
Oh no, I didn't know that.
There's there's the Indian Lake trilogy. There's 2 more books. The 3rd book just came out.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Then I'll add it to my list.
If you want to break from your cult shit, but you want to listen to horror still. 2nd book is just good. I haven't got to the 3rd one yet.
Okay.
Because we're just getting back to a normal where we can fucking. That work's been busy as shit, and so.
Yeah.
And plus, I don't have all the time to read anymore, as much. So. But yeah, that's all I've got.
Nice. Let's see. I watched. I've been so busy. I took Booger on a vacation, a little like trip because his leg's giving out.
And so you want to get like one more in?
So I took him to the Suspicious Mountains in Arizona.
Oh, it's
because it's a haunted. It's a haunted place.
Also,
there's buried treasure hidden out there.
Is it cursed?
No, but the whole the Suspicious Mountain has Tales of Lost Gold by the Lost Dutchman. There is also countless UFO sightings above the mountains. There's countless reptilian sightings. There is Native American legends of like things out there, and then so it was pretty freaky. But when we went for our hike, he did super good, and like we got to the top of the peak, and I took a video. And then when we were there, it was like right at sunset, so I'm thinking, dang, it's gonna be dark when we get back. But I saw a vulture. And the thing is massive, dude. It's literally like your torso is how big this thing was. And its wingspan was like 6 feet like long because it was just standing there with his arms open or his wings open. I'm like, holy shit, that's so crazy. And then so like we see it and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you know, whatever. When we start hiking back, we get back to my tent. And when we get back to my tent, there's a tree nearby. And when I look at the tree, 6 vultures are just sitting in it.
You told me about this. I saw your
and I was like, holy crap, that's insane. So like, you know, whatever. The next time we pack up, we take off. We go down to I take them to a river float. So I get them in inner tube, me in inner tube. We float for like 6 hours down the river. And as we're there, my buddy's wife goes, holy crap, look at all those vultures. And I look up and there's like 15 of them just circling around us. And like it's just like the cartoons in the movies where they just like there was like a tornado of like vultures just hanging around us. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. And then like on the last day we were in the woods over in Prescott Valley National Forest, and there was like probably 30 vultures just chilling and waiting for us. And then it dawns on me, Booger's got a lame leg. So the entire time I realized these fuckers were literally like hunting us or waiting for Booger to like kill over so they could eat him.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, dude, that tripped me out. But I've been reading a lot of like random like articles online about vultures. So like that's my new favorite bird right now.
Well, that's good.
But dude, yeah, but Booger, like, as soon as we got him back, oh, dude, because I know how to swim now, because I took those swimming lessons.
I should hope so.
Yeah, I swam across the. Well, obviously we're in the river, so I was swimming a little bit. I was supposed to go to the lake, but I didn't go to the lake. But on the drive back, I realized, like, because I pass the Colorado River like every time I go to Arizona. So I was like,
I can look at swim now.
I'm like, you know what? Like, it's hot because it was like 110. I'm like, well, fuck it. So I pulled into this little off thing in my car. It's, even though it's a sedan, it's still like it has 4-wheel drive. So I'm like, I should be fine if I get down like in the sand. So I get down in the sand, let Booger out. I'm like, okay, cool. And then like Booger jumps in the water. I jumped in the water. And I swam across to the California border. I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing! Because that was the first time I actually like swam a distance by myself. And then on the swim back, I was like, okay, cool. Let me swim back to the Arizona border. So I'm swimming back. I'm like, oh, and I made it. And I was tired. But I swam the river. I'm like, fuck, dude, that's so cool. And then it dawned on me, because I'm swimming, the river's pushing me down the road. I was like 2 miles down the road, and then like, which is fine. But the thing is, like, there's no natural like pathway to get back. So it's like we're fucking climbing over rocks, and then the fireman carried Booger over like a little like portion of it just to get back to a solid area so he can walk back. But yeah, dude, like, fucking, I'm like Aquaman in there now. It's crazy.
Are you now?
Yeah, I am. Hey, Forrest.
You got one of those things?
I do have one of these things.
Hey, Jimmy.
So, for this month, for Robert Zemeckis month, we're going to watch a little film called Contact.
Okay.
Next week.
Well, that's going to do it for the episode this week. If you have any questions or comments, you can hit us up at our Instagram
At YHBlankThat.
or you can email us at yhblankthat@gmail.com.
Bye.
Bye.